Throughout history and in many different cultures, people have been told the story of Adam and Eve, as if it was about a man, a woman, a snake and an apple. The lesson was drilled into us clear. They sinned, and because of that, paradise was lost. But if you look closer, especially through the teachings of Neville Goddard and manifestation, this story isn't about sin at all. It's about what happens when you wake up to your own creative power. Adam and Eve's so-called crime wasn't disobedience, but discovering the fact that they could think for themselves, imagine and create. And the most shocking part about the story is that you're meant to copy what they did. You're supposed to take the fruit, awaken, and step into your role as creators of your world. But there is a catch. They made one crucial mistake after awakening, and most of us repeat this every single day. The real key is to copy them, but to correct their mistake. So how do we do that? So the Bible says that the tree in the Garden of Eden was a tree of knowledge of good and evil, but that phrase was just symbolic. Eating from that tree wasn't about fruit, it was about awareness. It was about discovering that you as a human can choose, imagine and create. If you think about it, before eating the fruit, Adam and Eve were in paradise, but they were essentially unconscious. They lived, but they didn't choose. They existed, but they didn't create. The serpent, another symbol, tempts them with the idea that eating will open their eyes. And that's exactly what happened. They awakened. They become aware of duality, of possibility, of themselves. Neville Goddard often reminded his students that the Bible is not a history book. It's a psychological drama happening within you. Adam and Eve are not two ancient people. They're symbols of you right now. Whenever you awaken to your own mind, the fruit is your imagination. The moment you recognize you can direct your imagination towards good or evil, success or failure, wealth or poverty, that's the bite of the fruit, and it's a turning point in life. So if the awakening is not actually the problem, what is it that Adam and Eve did that was wrong? The mistake wasn't eating. The mistake was made immediately after. They hid. They felt shame. They saw themselves as separate from God. Instead of embracing their new awareness, they collapsed into fear. They believed they had broken something, and they weren't worthy anymore. And this is what most of us do. When we first discover manifestation, and we realize that our imagination creates reality, it feels incredible at first. But then doubt creeps in. You think, what am I doing wrong? What if I'm not worthy? What if I've already ruined it? That's the shame of Adam and Eve, repeating itself in your life. Neville taught that nothing is more damaging than believing that you're separate from God. He said you are God playing all the parts. The only real fall is falling into the belief that you and God are divided. Adam and Eve's wrong was to awaken, but then use their imagination against themselves. So here's the part that most people get wrong. You're supposed to copy Adam and Eve. You're supposed to eat the fruit and awaken to your imagination. But you must avoid their mistake. Don't fall into shame, guilt or fear. Don't assume separation. Don't use imagination to picture yourself as powerless or unworthy. Copy them by claiming your creative power, but correct them by holding your head up high and saying, yes, I am one with the source of creation. I imagine, therefore I create. Think about this practically. If you're manifesting a new job and you imagine the interview going perfectly, but then the Adam and Eve mistake creeps in, you think, what if I messed it up? What if I'm not good enough? That's hiding in the bushes. That's shame after the fruit. To copy them correctly, you eat the fruit, meaning you accept your imagination as the source, and then you stand firm. You persist in your vision, and you refuse to hide. So Neville Goddard made this clear. The Garden of Eden is not in the Middle East. It's a state of mind. It's unconscious existence, where life happens to you and not through you. Eating the fruit is awakening to the truth that your imagination shapes your world. That moment is a so-called fall, but in reality it's the rise of human consciousness. Neville once said, the drama of life is psychological. The Bible shows you how to move from state to state. Adam and Eve show you the first state change, from unconscious paradise to conscious responsibility. And here's where it gets practical. If you want to return to the garden, you don't go backwards, you go forward. You learn to live in consciousness with the power you've awakened. You stop misusing imagination and fear, and start using it deliberately in faith. Eden wasn't lost, it was redefined. Paradise isn't somewhere outside of you. As Neville often pointed out, Golgotha, the place where Jesus was crucified, literally means the skull. Heaven and hell are both within your head. So how do you eat the fruit today in a practical way that will help with manifestation? Well, here's 3 simple steps. Step number 1, question appearances. So most people look at their circumstances and treat that as the absolute truth. If their bank account is low, they believe they are broke. If they are single, they believe they are unloved. But your appearances are just past imaginations crystallized. Adam and Eve's first mistake was looking at themselves as naked and ashamed, taking that image as reality. They'd forgotten they were creators. You avoid their mistake by questioning appearances. Whenever you're confronted with lack, just pause and remind yourself, this is only what I imagined yesterday. Today I'm planting a new reality. Step number 2, assume the wish fulfilled. So this is Neville's most powerful teaching. Instead of focusing on the gap of where you are and where you want to be, just focus on living in the end. This is the conscious bite of the fruit. Imagine not the desire itself, but the after effects. Don't imagine a pile of money. Imagine the freedom of paying bills effortlessly, or surprising someone with a gift. Don't imagine meeting the right person. Imagine the conversations you'd have if that relationship was already established. By moving into the state of the wish fulfilled, you're deliberately shaping the unseen. And step number 3, persist without shame. So this is where you correct the mistake of Adam and Eve. They're hidden fear, but you stand boldly in your imagination. Doubts will come, they always do, but your job is to persist in the new state until it hardens into fact. Think of persistence as watering a seed. The soil might look unchanged for a while, but beneath the surface something is happening. Don't uproot the seed by doubting. Keep feeding it with your inner conversations, your mental rehearsals, and your assumptions. Eating the fruit today means taking responsibility for your inner world. You no longer let appearances dictate your reality. You live as if your desire is already fact, and you persist with confidence, never hiding in shame. This is how you do what Adam and Eve started, but you finish it correctly. So for me, Adam and Eve's real crime wasn't disobedience. It was waking up to their creative power and then using it against themselves. They hid, they feared, they separated themselves from God. But here's the real lesson. You are Adam, you are Eve. You're living this story right now, and you have a choice. You can repeat their mistake, hiding from your own power, imagining yourself as weak and living in fear, or you can copy them in the best way possible. Awaken to your imagination, embrace it fully, and use it without shame to shape your world. Paradise is not lost, paradise is within you, and the fruit of the tree is yours to eat every single day. As Neville said, imagination is a very gateway to reality. Don't hide from it. Take the fruit, eat it, and live the life that you want to live. Thank you for being here, and as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.